Hello and welcome to the Arsenal Bite Size Podcast. I'm your host, Clayton, and welcome to your first home review of the season. Arsenal 5, Leeds 0. It was almost a 5-star day, almost a 10 out of 10. We will talk about why it wasn't, but we had an Eze unveiling. We had a 15-year-old debut for Max Dowman. We had our number 9 bagsman get off the mark in the red and white at home. 5-0, top of the league, albeit it's game week 2. But Uncle Mike's with me to review it as always. How are you feeling this morning? Any sore heads?
No, not for me, mate. I'm a sensible old man. How's everyone? It's good morning. As you say, it could have been the perfect day, but we'll get into all of that. But yeah, it was from what turned out to. We'll get into it, but there was the Eze announcement and then all of that good stuff. But so good day to be an Arsenal fan, and we got to just soak it all in. So yeah, good start.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice Sunday morning. It's bank holiday weekend. So what time is it right now? It is around 11:30 a.m. So grab yourself a cuppa if you're watching live. Get a coffee, a beer if you fancy. It is the bank holiday.
a beer if you're in Wetherspoons.
Yeah, exactly. Make yourself known in the chat if you're watching live. We've got Marsh in, morning fellas, lovely day out yesterday. Bobby Love, morning lads, what a day. His voice is still recovering. I saw Bobby yesterday after the game. That was nice. Yeah. Tommy Gunn, morning everyone, morning mate. Like I said, if you're in live, make yourselves known. I'll get the plugs in early. Like I said, in the last few episodes, we're trying to get to 400 subs. So if you're watching live, hit the like button and sub to the channel and help us on our way. But yeah, it was very much a nice day indeed yesterday. Like the vibes were just so good. I got into the area early doors. I think I was in the pub for the second half of the Man City Tottenham game. So that was maybe, what time was that? 2?
At half 1, 2.
Yeah,
about 2.
So I was on it.
We rude not to on the first day. Come on,
exactly.
and the context of it, as some people would know and some may not know, it is potentially your last home game for a while.
Exactly.
So I want to get into how that felt as well for you.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure, especially the kind of post-game stuff. But I wasn't on it, like I was just kind of sensible, like steady day drinking sort of thing, which I kind of enjoy. Like
4%ers.
Yeah, exactly. Slow and steady wins the race. I arrived in like good spirits, good level, but like not obliterated, not swaying and stuff. But the vibes were good. Obviously, Tottenham winning at Man City, I think, splits opinions for people. Me personally, as much as I will never cheer for Tottenham, I don't look at them as a title rival. I look at Man City as that. So I was like, you know what? I could have spun a narrative either way on how that game went for me personally. I was just like, I like watching Premier League football. I'm going to watch the game. Had a nice sing-song in the pub. Vibes were good. Sun was out.
All the new songs being trotted out.
New songs doing the rounds, yeah.
Want to give us a rendition?
No. The Gyökeres one doing the rounds. I still haven't landed on what I think that unequivocal Eze one will be, because I've heard a few different.
Yeah, there's renditions. A couple of charts. Yeah. I think it will take a couple. I think it'll take a couple of games, won't it?
Yeah, because I don't love. I know copying chants is a thing you can't really get away from in football, but I don't love the idea of potentially going straight for that Liverpool Chiesa one, because that does feel like that does actually feel quite unique, quite new, and like I do feel like there's some originality there from them. Like I do think it would be a bit of a cop out if we just went and did that one.
But on the other hand, I almost think are we that clever? Are we that like we know that they hate it and they accuse us?
So it's like play up to it.
So it's almost like fuck you. We're going to go straight for that, and then because you're going to say it anyway. You know what I mean? So yeah, it could be a good one, but I don't like that Eberechi Eze is one of our own. That's lame. We need better than that.
I didn't hear that, to be fair.
Yeah, I heard that.
Just the simple Eberechi Eze, he's one of our own.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cop out.
That's lame as fuck. So,
I heard. I did hear a funny one where it was like, how does it go now? It was like, I can't remember the whole thing, but bits of it was like, how does it feel to be Tottenham? How does it feel to be small?
I've heard that one.
throw
yeah.
paint at the wall. And
Yeah. We got Eze, you throw paint at a wall.
yeah, I do like that one, to be fair.
Yeah.
But
Any song that pisses off a fan base as you sing it while celebrating your own player is a winner for me. So if we're fucking off Liverpool fans or Tottenham fans by singing that song, whatever song it lands on, that's cool with me.
yeah, I do like the Gyökeres one though. I really like that one. But yeah, I had a nice sing song around the pub, and then did my usual pre-match walk over to the Arsenal. But like on the way, go past Highbury, always take that in and stuff, and then got into the concourse. Obviously, block 6 is where I
Going
go pre-match. Yeah, that was going off. But then obviously timing wise, I think I got into.
You wanted to be in, didn't you? You wanted to be in by 5:20.
Well, I wasn't aware of all of that. So
oh really?
So me and my mate, we got in really early. I think we got into the stadium around 4:15, just because we just fancied getting in early. I think had a Guinness. They got Guinness and Asahi there.
Marks out of 10.
For a normal Guinness, I'd give it a 5, 6, but for a stadium, I'd give it a 7, 8. Like I was expecting worse, and like it wasn't in the terrible cups that you get in the pub. It was in like like the plastic one, not like the thin see-through one. I don't know how to describe that. A bit more the solid one, which made it taste nicer. But yeah, so I had a couple Guinness, and then the sing song started going around block 6, but then that's when you have a little scroll on Twitter around like 4:15, because that's when the teams come out and you're looking at the teams, and it's like, we'll get into that, but like, oh, okay. And then around the same time, I'm seeing like Hand of Arsenal tweeting, Red Action tweeting, like, you don't want to miss being in your seat for 5:15, 5:20. And we're like, oh. And then we hear, okay, Eze's going to be announced on the socials at 5. And like, that's when it starts getting lively. And like in block 6, people usually stay there right up until kickoff, like 5 minutes max. But people started clearing out, going to their seats like 10:05 and stuff, because no one wanted to miss that. And then you kind of get into the seat. It's not, obviously I've got a season ticket, so it's all the familiar faces after last season, so you're catching up, saying your hellos and stuff. And then what an unveiling. Like, I was going to ask you actually, like, I can't remember the last time we unveiled a player like this in the stadium. Like, that felt really cool.
I can't remember. It's old school, isn't it? It's proper throwback to the times where and they might have been announced on the pitch after signing, like a Bergkamp.
But going that far back.
Yeah, but that wasn't their actual first time that they, because Bergkamp had you have the press conference, and then he just walked in, and then the next game he was presented to the fans, or would have been presented to the fans, but for the announcement to be part of the just on the pitch, that I haven't seen that for a long time.
And how bloody good was it? I mean, where do you want to go first? Do you want to go with the social media video or the actual?
Let's go for it.
Yeah, like that video. So I'll probably get your perspective on it, because I couldn't hear it in the stadium.
Yeah,
you know what the signal's like in the Emirates, so I could see it with subtitles, but I didn't get the feel for like the song and all of that. But what did you think?
I was in tears, man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Seriously,
I heard a few people.
I'm a soppy old man sitting in my living room on my own, and I was watching the live from N5 breakdown, or the thing on the official site. So I was watching that the half hour before, and they were sort of building it up, and then they showed the video on there, and you're seeing it in a lot better quality than you would have been seeing it in the stadium. So you're like, wow. And oh man, it was dust. My room was dusty, mate, because my eyes were going with
it's
tears.
Such a full circle moment,
and that's what it is. It's such a lovely story, and it just gives inspiration to so many young kids to say, look, whether you're in your R academy or if you've got kids yourself, or your sons, brothers, or whatever, just to, just keep going. So it's so inspirational. And that moment that he then came out, man, that little look that he turned around over his shoulder and just,
that was beautiful.
I think it just hit him, didn't it? That was the time it hit him. And I think every Arsenal fan, imagine his family, man, just every Arsenal fan's watching that around the world, just smiling. And he just looked around, and I think it hit him.
Yeah.
And that's his first time he's sort of felt that as an Arsenal player. Imagine the love that's going to be if he does do what we think he's going to do and change games
we're
and
talking legacy stuff.
gets winners in big games. Does turn the guy? He's up there, and he will be like the level that we hold Saka in, as in love. You know, there'll be we've got to let him into our hearts because he will do things that will take us to places. So it was such a beautiful moment. And I'm sure everyone who was watching, they all had their own where they were and how they were feeling. And like to say in the chat how you felt and how it made you feel. So yeah, to be in the stadium for that, it's very lucky for you to experience that.
I've got to say, the way he walked out as well, like he knows he's that guy, and I like that. Like there was like that kind of swagger and confidence to it, and
and the song as well.
Yeah, the song.
And he was coming off, mate. It's just and as much as I wanted the Netflix six episode series of Henry and Righty and
Big Soul
and Big Soul and doing all that. I understand that there was a time they went for emotion, didn't they, rather than production.
Yeah,
because I mentioned it on the pod last, but I saw it again, the Declan Rice video yesterday, and that's a bang up for an announcement video, and that takes time to do all that sort of stuff, you know. So if you had 24 hours.
Yes, Gunners. North London is red now. Something like that.
Undercover policeman, mate. He just comes across as an undercover policeman to me, Declan Rice, mate. I love him. I love the guy. So yeah.
No, it was brilliant, and yeah, like you say, it was so nice to see that. I think because that's the thing, where he walked out with that level of confidence and stuff. It was almost quite nice to see that level of like humbling, where it almost was like, whoa, this is for me.
That initial that over the shoulder, you could see that. Whoa, I was hoping I'd get that reaction, but I've got that reaction. That's just hit him, you know, and it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, it's like Marsh says in the chat. It's such a beautiful moment. It's basically seeing exactly what any of us would be like walking out there, having just signed. Christopher Tellers is like you. He said the announcement video brought tears to his eyes. And the unveiling sent chills down his spine. Can't even imagine how he'll feel when he scores his first goal for us. Hope you're good, Chris, mate. Yeah, unbelievable. And I think the one thing that I remember when we left the pod on Friday and we were talking about Eze, I was so annoyed. I was like, why didn't we talk about this from the angle of like, we touched on it, but obviously the kind of hijacking from that lot down the road and stuff. But like, that's what made me laugh when, I don't know if it came through on the telly, but Are You Watching Tottenham started ringing around and stuff. And
not
like,
really, no.
Yeah, that made me laugh. And like because he would have heard that, Eze, and like the stories obviously coming out post game of how he called Arteta. I think that lot, like that, if anything, I mean, there's many things that will illustrate the gulf in the two clubs and the food chain and the pecking order, but this just sums it up for me. This transfer saga, beautiful.
Yeah, and then to start chucking paint on walls is just so.
It's Tim Pot, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that kind of set the tone for the day, to be honest, didn't it? Because lineup.
Because after all that hype, you can't then go in and lose 1-0, can you? You can't. You need to put on a show. But the lineup, what should we go to the lineup?
Yeah, well, so I think in terms of like the kind of building of the day and stuff, obviously I said we were kind of in the stadium refreshing the timelines at 4:15 and saw. I think I've got 11 out of 11 in my predicted. I'm sure I went Timber right back. Madueke
we went Madueke. You went Calafiori. I went Timber.
Oh, okay.
I went Timber. That
you went Lewis Skelly, I think.
And Timber the other side. Yeah, but we both went Madueke.
Yeah. So yeah, I was happy got that out there, and lineup comes out, and I'm excited. I'm intrigued. It's confidence because of the starting 11, but also just like, whoa, look at that bench. Look at the squad that we've got, and
the players that you're not on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. So then, I think everything combined was just the feel-good factor. You see Dowman on the bench. I think that was kind of leaked prior to 4:15 that he was going to be in the squad. And the game then starts. We're I saw a lot of different narratives online post-game about that kind of opening 30 minutes. And I guess we can go into we've got the graphics that we used to do. So from Mark, our stat spot, for anyone listening on audio, what we've got on screen is the stats, which I'll read through in a second according to his model and data collection. And then there's two graphs. One is like a cumulative expected goals, which is like the chances we created. And it's a nice visual format where you can see spikes of creativity. And then the cumulative threat as well, which is like your general opportunities. So to read out the stats, according to his model, our XG was 2.42 to their 0.09. Obviously, we did have a pen in there. Our threat was 1.67 to their 0.36. Possession, 68.2 to their 31.8. And Phil Tilt, champions of the world, returned, well, subpar performance, sub 90%, but 86.2 to their 13.8. But yeah, just want to bring these up if it helps illustrate any context for you. But how did you feel during the game in that first half hour? This isn't from hindsight. This is how you felt in the midst of it. Because Timber scored 34th minute.
Most important, I didn't search for a different radio station, so I
what
didn't
was it?
go
Sky?
No, yeah, I didn't go Smooth FM this week. I went Gary Neville FM, and I listened to the commentary today because home game. I didn't know he was going to be on it, and then the game kicked off because I was watching the live from N5 before, and then I'm like, oh, can I be asked to start? By listening to Smooth, you're not listening to the crowd, the home crowd. So I wanted to get in touch with the atmosphere. So, bit slow. We talked to the last two shows about how we wanted to be more direct, more vertical. I felt we were going left a hell of a lot more than we usually do. And you could just see that Zubimendi and Rice are still just trying to work out where to stand, when to go. It looked a little bit stodgy. The tempo wasn't great. And we get to the set piece goal, and that changes everything, because once you've got that, I think it just changed everything. But I wasn't particularly happy with what I was seeing in the first half an hour. But I'm not losing my mind over it, because it's you just got to sort of see it through. And I think the players worked it out. You could see. And then, was there a change with the Odegaard going off? Did suddenly Nandwari come on? Were we a bit more direct? Are we still suffering from Odegaard? Again, it'd be interesting from your perspective. We mentioned it last week about the Gyökeres runs, and we'll talk about that later. But there were still a couple of times when Odegaard's had the opportunity to play a pass through and turned back and turned around and does what he normally does. And that we need to work on that. But I just felt it was a little bit stodgy and a little bit safe in the first half an hour.
Yeah, see, I had a different perspective, which is why I wanted to ask, because I definitely feel like I was on my own. And I'm not saying the first 34 minutes prior to the goal were great, but I don't think they were as bad or as concerning as people are making out. I think it was the lack of the goal that was causing anxiety. But I think even without that set piece, I think the goal was coming, to be honest. If anything, I thought we actually started relatively okay in terms of like our intention and stuff. And if anything, I think the momentum dropped ever so slightly a few minutes before the goal. But I thought it was okay. I thought we were trying to move the ball in the right areas. Like you say, I think we used the left-hand side pretty interestingly. I was impressed by Madueke. I liked what I saw there.
Yeah.
I thought the rotations were good. I thought it was fine. I thought there were periods in the game where they looked like they were possibly not in the game, in the first half hour, where they were on the verge of reverting back to last season, of slowing it down, taking the safe option. But I generally thought it was fine. And to the point where I felt like even if we didn't get that set piece goal, if we kept doing what we were doing, we were going to knock the door down eventually. So I didn't have any real concerns. But I feel like I might be on my own there, because a lot of what I saw online and people around me in the stadium, and I was just like, when you're in the stadium, you can't be bothered to debate, so you're just like, yeah. But I was like, no, I think it's fine. I think it's one of them where
it wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't sparkling. And I think, again, expectations are so high. our expectations as a fan base, we're looking at that and thinking, you've got a bang, it's Leeds at home, let's see all this sparkling football. We're a fan base that's grown up on Arsene Wenger, and we know what good football looks like when we see it. And it's when it's not all smooth and silky, we start calling it shit. But it's still, you're still in control. Leeds didn't have a shot after the 20th minute.
Yeah, I heard about that.
They had, I think, was it 3 shots? So you're still in control of the game, but it's whether you're ripping teams apart. And I think the expectations of doing that in the opening half hour against a Leeds team that are going to come in and they're going to sit in, and they're going to hit you on the left with their pacing wingers. I don't think it was shit. It just wasn't sparkling, and there's a huge difference in that.
And I think this kind of adds up to what Marsh is saying in the chat and kind of what you're saying there, where Marsh feels like we often look at a game with our own bias of previous seasons. So any level of control from us always risks feeling like something from last season. And I agree with that. And what you were saying there, I do think there is an expectation from people that we need to go and blow teams away now. And I'm not quite there in the sense of, like, I don't think we need to do that to be able to win games comfortably. So I think that's why I'm still like, with what I saw in the first 30 minutes, sure, would I have liked a goal prior to 30 minutes? Absolutely. These games against like teams that I think will finish, well, definitely in the relegation battle, definitely lower half teams, I'd like to be seeing goals 15 minutes latest. But yeah, I definitely think that's a great point from Marsh, because we've all got our own kind of things that we align what we're seeing against our own expectations. But yeah, I was just curious on that. But then the one thing I didn't want, just because of narratives, was I didn't want our first goal to come from a set piece. Cue Jurrien Timber.
Fuck 'em.
I've got to say, actually, before that, there was a big chance for us, which Gyökeres kind of stabbed at. It was Leeds were trying to play out from the back. I think it was Saka was up on someone. Zubimendi pounced on someone, won it. And the ball falls to Gyökeres and he kind of stabs his toe at it. And he had a lot more time than I think he realised at that one. But like, that's the sort of thing where I think that goes in.
Yeah.
I think the floodgates open. Like, we're playing our football a lot earlier than we ended up doing it. So yeah, I think it's one of them. Like, I think it will come. I understand people's kind of annoyance, but yeah, I think it will come. But yeah, like I said, I didn't want the first goal to be a set piece, but 34th minute, Declan Rice heads over, whips in a cross, and there's Jurrien Timber. What a beautiful header that is, by the way.
Have you noticed we're doing something as well? We're not crowding the goalkeeper in our corners anymore. We're really leaving. You're putting all the players on the back post. They're running in, but they're sort of running in to jump in front of the goalkeeper, because we have to change up those set pieces with the rules. Because that rule was designed for us, for the manhandling in the penalty area. I still see Man United fans bleating about the game last week. Every single day they're going on about it, about how it was a penalty or it was the foul on their goalkeeper. But we changed that. If you notice, we're not going near the goalkeeper. Whether that's something to keep an eye on, because we don't want to be. If they're gonna, we'll be the first team that will get punished and have a goal struck off for manhandling a goalkeeper or doing something like that. So interesting to see that. But what a player Timber is, just to get in. What lovely header or lovely finish, wasn't it, to get in there? But the deliveries from Rice are just
they're unbelievable. Even Saka's as well. Like, his are good as well. But like, Rice's are just on a different level, aren't they?
But I know I know what you mean about the set piece, and then you got the Stoke, the police, and all of that coming out. But what a tool to have in your armory is then, if you are struggling a little bit to break down these teams, as soon as you unlock that goal with 1-0, and the psychological pressure it has on teams. You see teams by the end of the game, they're shitting themselves.
Yeah,
that they know that we've scored. United, I think the last 4 games we played United have been set piece goals. So Tottenham, we tend to score from the court. So teams, as much as they're coaching this or trying to set up against that, we seem to keep coming up with different routines, which is great to see, because you don't want it to become the whole thing about this season is be unpredictable and be different.
Yeah, and I think like when I say about the set piece thing, it's like I've got no issue with having it as a tool. I think it's just so there. I said a statement of even with the performance, I felt like a goal was coming from open play.
Yeah.
I would like to see that happen more,
Yes.
because I feel like the way people talk about you influences so many things, and like
Yeah.
I know it shouldn't, but I would just like that. So this is why for me it was important that we slap a team 5-0, like
Yeah.
early doors, like
Yeah.
Gyökeres gets off the mark, like little things like that, score nice open play goals. Gyökeres, I liked that his first goal was something that he had to kind of carve for himself. It wasn't just, I'd like that the first goal was that, not the penalty. Little things like that I think influence how people see you.
Yeah, I was going to say that's so big that it wasn't a have a sympathy penalty.
Yeah,
The 5-0 win, and then it's he only got the goal on. He was shit. He missed that. He created the goal. It's his type of goal. How was his? How was it? How did he look in the state? Or should we get onto that? But yeah,
yeah.
just going to ask how he looked in the stadium.
Yeah, we'll get to him. We'll get to him. But yeah, we'll just kind of stick with the flow for now. So yeah, obviously go 1-0 up, and I think that kind of just, I don't know about you, when we go 1-0 up against teams like Leeds, I'm like, oh, chill. Game's done now.
I'm putting the kettle on, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was prior to that goal that I can't remember if it was prior to that goal or after the goal where Odegaard initially went down. Because then he came back on, didn't he? But then it was on the 38th minute that Odegaard actually went off. I didn't realize it was his 200th appearance for us. Fair play.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, he went off. Waneri came on. I think looked really, really impressive. Yeah, and then if you can see it on the graph, actually, the one I've got on the screen, especially the XG one, like there's a big spike for that Gyökeres chance that he stabbed at, and then it's pretty much flatline until the goal, and then kind of peaks ever so slightly for Saka's goal. But like Saka's goal, so good in the way that I don't know, like we lose the ball, but then the way we regain the ball and just what we speak about, that stranglehold where like we regain the ball in the middle to final third, get it into Timber. He plays a great pass into Saka, and he just roofs it into the top of the net, just like he did at Ellen Road a few years ago. I missed a flipping goal.
Oh no, piss!
I went for a piss. I was.
I just got the gun.
But I needed a piss from
38 minutes.
No, the 7th minute in the game.
Oh, mate.
So I was holding out for a long time.
Oh, mate, I would have gone at the 7th and then come back. But if I'm going at the 7th, I'm also going again at the 37th. That's the problem.
My thing was, I was like, the goal's coming. The goal's coming. And then I was like, I ain't missing it. And then we're 1-0 up. I remember I started going down as I saw the whatever the official's called, the fourth official, get the board up. I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then fucking stood in the toilet, cock out, cock in hand, hear this noise, and me and the guy next to each other just make eye contact, like we just scored.
We'll be running around after with our willies hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm not going to finish the rest of that song. But Saka makes it 2-0. What a finish. 2-0 half-time, home game, promoted side. Bob's your uncle, isn't it?
It was a lovely bit of work from Rice. Did you see that? The way he went back and won back the ball.
Yeah, really
and it was just the tenacity. And Subimendi's doing that a lot as well. Is getting in with those turnovers, winning the ball. He's some player, Subimendi, that you sometimes you just don't see him.
Yeah.
But he's just there. He's in the pocket. He's popping it here, popping it there.
He's got more about him defensively than I thought as well.
Because I for someone that I thought might struggle with the physicality of the Premiership, and he still might, but he's not afraid of putting his foot in, which is nice to see. So Rice was very important in that one, because that would have been a counter attack, and they would have been off. So he shut that down immediately, played the ball, bang, Saka, and he scored that goal against them up there, didn't he? Very similar. Come up when Leeds away.
Yeah,
I think he was expecting a cross, weren't they? So it was just like.
Do you know what I really loved about that goal on Gyökeres? Like, watch it
back.
He made the run.
He made the run.
He got the goal side of the defender, and it's the aggression and
he's not hiding behind a player. He's not marking himself. He made the run, which takes the player away, which then gives the goalkeeper and the player something else to think about. We've just got someone, haven't we?
Yeah, and even if there's a situation, because that is going to be an action. Well, maybe not for a while, depending on Saka's injury, but that is going to be an action that we see again, where Saka gets put into a position where he's got the option to take that shot. But it's so nice knowing that if he's not fancying that, he can drill it square and Gyökeres will be there. Like the Giroud near post run, get in front of the defender, flick it in. That really impressed me. But I think that's the segue, isn't it? So we go into halftime, 2-0, easy stuff, thinking, okay, this is going to be great. Obviously, we'd lost Odegaard at this point when Aries come on impressed, but 3 minutes into the second half, we're keeping the ball nicely on the left. Nice rotations between Calafiori, Rice, Gyökeres. Between that triangle, they've got Leeds kind of baited into coming high. Ball goes into Calafiori, plays it into the left channel for Gyökeres. He charges towards it, cuts inside, 1 touch, 2 touch, bang. I'm a grown man, locking my fingers together, going like this. A great goal. And like I said earlier, I think it's nice to get off the mark like that, rather than, like you say, a sympathy pen, rather than any pen, just a goal that you've kind of grafted for yourself. Like, that was a proper number 9. Love that.
Massive goal. Massive moment for the fans for that early in the second half as well. It just changed the whole. I could imagine being in there as well. It almost, you could just relax. I mean, I know you relaxed at 2-0 and it's Leeds and home, but the fact that he scored that, you could relax on that narrative as well, because people, the commentary on the UK was Gary Neville, and he was doing his normal groans and moans and groans. Oh, I was impressed with him last week at United, but I'm not so impressed with him this week.
Okay.
As soon as he scored that goal, shut up. Okay, he's got right. Yes, that's big. That's big, and it is big, and they know, because they would have loved the content today. Would have been 2 games without a goal, 3 games without a goal, 4 games, however long. Now we've got Šeško to
especially with the fixtures we've got, for sure.
So it's nice to have that. And the most important thing we keep going back to, it's his type of goal. He made that goal. It was a run that can be repeated over and over and over again, similar to the United game. But the United game, he stepped on the ball.
Yeah, exactly. So, against the Little, wasn't it? Yeah.
And he's 70% fit. He's 70% fit. You could see there was a run in the first half that he was sprinting and then he just ran out a puff. And it was almost ones that when you're running along, I mean, I done it in Barcelona, against Barcelona in the Champions League in Paris. And I was chasing down the road. And I would had a few beers. My legs were going at one speed, but my body was going at another. And then I suddenly just fell flat on my face forward. And that's what it looked like Gyökeres was going to do, that he just wasn't quite
doesn't look fully in control of it, does he?
No, it just, and I think if we're having a conversation about him, I think we've got to get used to, he is a clunky player, right? He looks like a comedian that plays in Soccer Aid. He's not your silky, smooth touch, bang, Henry. We've been blessed with so many skillful technical players over the years that I think our eyes have become so used to seeing our strikers or our players have got to be able to do that. They've got to be able to do that.
Do you have any concerns if he isn't that kind of player?
No, don't give a fuck. Because he is a player that we haven't had, and we keep saying it, we haven't had a player like that. I was talking to my mate yesterday before he was going into the game, Sergeant, we was having a good old chat, and he was like, I don't think we've had a player like that till Ian Wright, as in a hungry, only thing he wants to do is score goals. Just score goals.
And barge into people.
And that's all he wants, is I want to score a goal. And I can't remember the last, and that's why I don't care about whether his link-up play, whether he can drop back, and whether he's clunky or he's not smooth, and his running style isn't as graceful as going across the pitch like an Henry or whatever. Just get in the fucking box and bang those goals to take us to the promised land. I don't care.
because I think, by the way, I don't know if you can see the comment on the chat, Marsh. Just to confirm, Mike is comparing himself to Gyökeres, yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, I think it depends on what stage your team is at and what conversation you want to have. If we were a team 3-4 years ago that was still trying to get into being a top 4 team, where we weren't able to sustainably play in the final third like we do now, sure, I'd be having a conversation about, okay, do we need our number 9 to be a bit more technically astute, link play and stuff. This is one thing that I don't understand why we don't get spotlighted more for this. I think we are at one of the best teams in the world at arriving into the final third. Like, our build-up is absolutely remarkable, how we get from goalkeeper to defenders to midfielders, and then arrive into the final third. And we all know the issues we've had there. The issue wasn't with our number 9 linking play or not. It was with the final action and converting the prettiness into just brute strength and final action delivery. And that's what he gives and brings. And I agree with you. Like, sure, like as an observation, is he technically clean? No. Can his link play be improved? Yes. Do I care as well? Not particularly, because I don't think for the wider game that we play and the wider players around him, it's going to be an issue. I don't think his game is going to require him to be that facilitator. No. And I think this is the one thing the manager does so well, is he tailors systems and players and zones that players occupy to their strengths. So there, you've got him running into like that move for me was so bloody smart on how we manipulated it. Because what was the thing everyone said in the summer? He's not going to get that space. It's like, if you manipulate your, but like, look how well we operated that between Rice, Calafiori, and him. And sure, like we say, he didn't look in control of it, but if the ball ends up in the back of the net, I don't care. And like, I'm not being funny when we talk about sample sizes. Okay, the league is a question where he's doing it, but if you're doing 97 goals in 100 appearances or whatever it was, I don't think you need to question the technical ability at that point.
Because you know where to run, don't you? You know you're making, whether the league is the league, you're still making those runs. And we've looked at, I think our last 2 strikers, number 9s, if you include Havertz as that. Havertz is not the number 9, we know that, but he brings so much else to the game. Same as Jesus. Jesus is not a number 9. Effectively, he brings so much else to his game, and he doesn't want to just stand in the box. That's the problem with Jesus, is he does so much other stuff that by the time he reaches in the box, Neva's spoken about it in the past on the pod, he's not ice cold when he gets in the box, because he's just done a cheeky run from the halfway line, skin 3 players, gets in the box. By the time he gets there, he's not clinical.
Speaking of people not sticking to rigid positions, you see where Calafiori ended up for that goal? It was basically in the net. I love him. I absolutely love him.
He's going to be a game changer for us this season, as long as he stays fit. Long as he stays fit. And then that goes back to just briefly mention it, the substitutions are getting interesting. Two fullbacks come off 2-1, and that's the second game. The second game he's done that, Arteta. So I think that could be a theme to look at.
Yeah, we'll get there. A couple of things I want to mention before we get to that period. You sent me this graphic. Was there anything you wanted to highlight on?
No, it was just. I mean, I was interested again. Say it, the runs was he making those consistent runs that we weren't finding him in that first sort of half an hour, 45 minutes in this, that you could see in the stadium. And then we're a lot looser. He's got his confidence after his goal. Could you see a change in him in the stadium from when he got his goal to suddenly he's got a little bit more confidence? Is he making the runs with a little bit more confidence, or is that not noticeable?
I'll be honest, I didn't really notice. I felt like he was consistently making the runs. And I'm going to contradict myself here a little bit. I think the one where I said I don't really care about the technical ability and the link play and stuff, I do think had he been better in that element earlier in the first half, we would have maybe sustained and created more, just because I felt like he got himself into really good positions between the centre-backs, balls in the air, but it would kind of like bounce off his chest. And I felt like if he brought it down, laid it off, then peels and runs, then we're sustaining attack. So maybe I'm contradicting myself there a bit, and like maybe that is an area that can and should be improved to help us. But no, not particularly, to be honest. But Yeah, I was just happy that was how the first goal for him happened. And yeah, 48th minute, we're 3-0 up, we're cruising. But like anything, when it comes to the Arsenal, we can't have nice things for very long, can we? Because 5 minutes later, it was a few minutes later, Bukayo Saka goes on a darting run. It's looking exciting, goes from outside to in, running in the middle. I'm like, okay, this is going to turn into a big action. He goes down. And 53rd minute, he gets subbed off for Leandro Trossard. What was your initial reaction watching that? And what was the commentary saying? I bet that must have been...
Yeah, it was a few groans from Neville.
Yeah,
it was devastating. It's the black cloud on the day, is that I think we can cope with the Odegaard, depending on what that is. I mean, we have the discussion about why you've got the stacked squad now, but we never want to see Saka. All we're looking at it was, please get up, please get up, please get up. But then touch this hamstring, and you're thinking, shit, this isn't good. And then the only thing that I'm then looking at is, can I cope with this? Is it a precautionary? He felt a twing, get off the pitch now. And I think they are now being told, before we were playing on a little bit because you didn't have the squad depth. He knows his body more than anyone, Saka, and he's very good at knowing when he's had that. And worst case scenario, or best case scenario, it's a 3-4 weeker. I mean, we don't want it to be hanging off the bone. I don't think it's that bad. But then I have seen someone saying that is, I think Tommy Gunn mentioned it, or in an Arsenal chat, was someone, was he whispering as he was coming off, saying it was cramp?
Is it?
Yeah. So, but then Arteta, do we put ourselves through hoops? Is Arteta saying it's cramp, saying it's a hamstring? We've got Liverpool next week. It's cramp. Get him off the pitch. Bang, he's done. I don't know. Are we going to Mourinho levels of mind games on that, or
possibly?
But not in our luck, it'll be a 4-weeker or a 6-weeker.
There's a Twitter account at Physio Scout, who I think maybe has a decent track record for these things, and his analysis. Well, not his analysis. His different expected recovery times are: if it's a grade 1, 2 to 4 weeks; grade 2, 4 to 6 weeks; grade 3, 8 to 12 weeks. And obviously he's got caveats in there and says it's based on scans, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I hadn't considered the cramp thing, and maybe it is that different level. But I'll be honest, I was concerned because you do get cramp from running, but the way he went, it was almost, because I feel like he was running at like 70% gliding, and then upped it when he went in, and it went up a burst. And that burst was what I saw twinge, and I was like, I don't like that.
That doesn't look like cramp.
But. Yeah, so that's worried me. But this is what, I mean, obviously we're going to have absurd conversations in terms of replacements, but I think this is the best equipped we've ever been to have them conversations.
Yeah.
I don't want to have them now. I'd rather do that for maybe the Liverpool preview where we'll have more information and stuff. But at a high level, we're immediately thinking, okay, we've got an Eze in the door now. Madueke, I thought looked pretty good, right and left. Personally, Martinelli didn't get any minutes. Trossard can go on the left, which means Madueke on the right. Like when Airy impressed when he came on. We don't know about Odegaard's injury either. Obviously that was the shoulder. We'll see. I've not seen any. I didn't see what that physio dude said about Odegaard. Have you seen anything in terms of?
No. It could, again, it's the extreme of, is it a sprain or is it a broken collarbone?
Okay, I found it. Direct shoulder contact with the ground with arm next to his side is indicative of an AC joint sprain injury. Another possibility is a broken collarbone, but it looks less likely here. His expected recovery times are, if it's a low grade, I don't know what an AC joint sprain is, but that's less than 2 weeks. And a grade 2-3 sprain is 2 to 4 weeks. I think like anything with these things, we just have to wait for the official information. I think with Arsenal in particular, there's so many ITKs and team ticks, hand of Arsenal. We'll know. We will know.
Just disappointing. It's just disappointing.
Yeah. Why can't we have nice things? But it was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, wasn't it? We go from having a nice thing in Viktor Gyökeres, 48th minute, it gets off the mark. Nice goal. We then flip to Saka going off injured. But Jurrien Timber gets the fourth, another set piece goal. bit of a scramble. Calafiori technically gets the assist. Timber pokes it home. We're 4-0 up, and then that cues, I think, Leeds to kind of give up. They take off Perot, take off Tanaka, bring on Nemecha, Longstaff. And then a few minutes later, I mean, is there anything you want to say on Timber's goal before we get onto the triple subs?
No, all good. I just think he's a magnificent player. That's all I want to say about him. I think he never, ever has a bad game for Arsenal.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and it's interesting because, like, I mean, we didn't even speak about it when the lineups came out, that no Ben White in the squad. So let's hope.
We were talking about that in the preview, weren't you? That we did think he was injured, and it sounds like it was the injury against United that so that could be a. But then why haven't we been told? Because he was touching his hamstring then. Why haven't we been told about that? So that'll be a wait and see, won't it?
Yeah. Hopefully it is just precautionary and they're just managing load and everything. But yeah, one of the nice things that came from yesterday, one of many nice things, was the triple substitution that happened in the 64th minute. So Jurrien Timber went off, standing ovation. Mosquera comes on at right back and presses again. Like you say, the depth in fullback is a joke. Calafiori goes on, Lewis Skelly comes on, and then something that was absolutely beautiful and stunning to witness. 15-year-old Max Dowman becomes the second youngest Premier League debutant at 15 years old. He'll be 16, I think, on New Year's Eve. He comes on, plays right wing, got Waneri on the inside of him. I'm lost for words with this guy. He obviously wins the penalty to get the fifth and final goal. What did you make of his cameo, and what did you make of those subs?
It was. I think Mosquera was going to be a huge addition to our squad this season, because he looks an animal. He looks an absolute beast.
He's very front-footed, isn't he?
And he's not here to fuck around, that guy. And that's what we want. We want that quality. So yeah, it's nice to see that we are doing the 60-30 things with the fullbacks, managing the load, and you can do it at that game state, can't you? So, and it was the perfect opportunity to bring on Dowman. I don't think there's anything that can be said that hasn't been said about him.
Yeah.
We've said it all. We know what we've got, and well, I don't think we know how good he can be, and let's just hope that we just stay sensible. Neville was initially trying to initiate that he dived for the penalty.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Even though you can clearly see he gets stamped on.
That's when he changed his mind.
Okay.
Because I'll be honest. If you look at it, it did look. If you're looking at the other foot, he does make contact with the player's leg.
Okay.
And the first initial viewing, I didn't see the stamping on the toe. It's only when it slowed down and you look at it again. So he did change his narrative on that, because he was starting to go down the route of he goes down too easily, but he had to backtrack on that one. So yeah, but we've got a player there that can bring on in the last 15-20 minutes, that's now earning a reputation, and you could just run at players. These are men that he's running at.
Yeah, and the way he took Goodmanson down the line for when he got the yellow, like I do think that was soft, but like
yes,
yeah,
but just to take him on,
encouraging, weren't it?
Yeah, just to take him on, and then to go in the box, and he's so tricky that players are shitting themselves what to do with him. So as long as he's not, I don't want him to get the reputation of diving.
No,
you need to. We don't want that on that lad at this time. But I don't think that's there. I do not believe that we should have given him. I'm glad we didn't give him the penalty.
No, me either.
We don't want to be going down that route. So, because there was something, I'll give it to Dowman, and I'm like, no, you give it to
that's social media people that don't understand elite environments. Like that would have not been a consideration for any single player on that pitch, the management staff.
No. Do you think it's in Gyökeres's head?
Not at all.
Do you think he's like, I'm desperate to get off to my Arsenal career, and I'm going to give it.
He dumped his missus to come and play for us.
You know what I mean? I've lost $2 million. Think I'm giving a penalty away to a 15-year-old? You've got no chance, mate. Exactly. So yeah, and what a penalty!
Yeah,
that's why he's the penalty taker.
Yeah,
that's
really,
why
really
he
good.
will be the penalty taker. Unbelievable.
Really good. Well, we say, do you think Gyökeres was aware of it? I think he might be aware of it now because he's clearly on the socials, isn't he? With the hair flicks and.
Mate, I loved it. I loved it because he done it. At first, he's like, I'm just always going to do looking down the camera, and then he done the flick, and I'm like, they asked him after as well.
I don't know if you tweaked anything with your mic there, but your audio's changed. That I think you might be back.
Yeah, about.
No, I don't. Did you do anything?
Is that better?
No, that's right. It's still okay, but it's just gone.
Yeah, so what was I saying? Oh,
the hair.
They mentioned it to him after the celebration, and they said, "Oh, was that a little nod to me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I see it."
Yeah, yeah. I think this is the thing we're probably going to have to get used to with, like, I was going to say the next generation. He's not the next generation. He's 27 years old. But your headset's all good. Don't worry. Don't fuck it up now. Yeah, but I think with especially people that are like 27 years of age and younger, they probably all have social media. Like we know Declan Rice is a doom scroller. So they probably are so much more aware of things than people that were 5-6 years older than them. So yeah, I liked that. But just going back to Max one more time, I found it interesting that like Rice went on like a galloping run through the middle, and I think he tried to kind of tee it up for Dowman to take a shot, and he didn't take it. There was the corner, I think, that fell to him outside the box.
Yeah,
like kind of
had a couple of chances, didn't he? They were almost desperate. It was almost like it was a testimonial when you're trying to get the geezer whose testimonial it was to score. But yeah,
there was another one where Waneri was running through the middle of the park and he kind of drifted left, and I feel like he should have played it to Dowman earlier. But it's funny, like you say about the testimonial vibe. What I found encouraging was how two things. A, he always found himself in space to be available. And the second is like clearly how much they trust him.
Yeah.
Like that, I think is so telling. So, yeah.
It's the same. They always say it, don't they? If you can do, it's the players. If they're not passing to the player, then they don't trust him. And they 100% trust this young lad. And it's nice to see you got like Rice is becoming a bit of a mentor, isn't he?
Yeah.
Looks after
even
him.
Calafiori, like at full time. Yeah. The way they put the hand on his head like he's a little baby.
And Gyökeres as well, when he won the penalty, and they won the penalty. So it's really good to see. It's really good to see.
I think it's scary what we've got here, man. It's yeah. You always want to be a bit
grounded. No Mikey Moore,
though,
mate. It's no Mikey Moore.
He is not indeed. But yeah, Waneri and Max Dowman, the two youngest Premier League debutants now. I'm sure I heard that the record for the youngest goal scorer is like the guy was comfortably 16. So I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head if we've got any of the promoted sides at home this side of Christmas. But if we're in a position where we're 3-4-0 up, I think we will see him get more minutes. One thing I found interesting with the subs, so because of the injuries, so obviously with the 5 subs, you've got 3 opportunities to make your substitutions. If you make one at halftime, it doesn't count as one of your 3. But obviously, Odegaard was one opportunity to make a sub. Saka was another. So we therefore only had one more opportunity to make the sub. So I was quite surprised that he went for all 3.
And quite early as well. Yeah, quite early.
Yeah. So I like that. It shows maybe this is the first time he really feels that he trusts the whole squad. Yeah, but I know I've spoken about him already. I feel like I'm gonna maybe bat for this guy more than most people just because of the noise around him when he joined. But I really liked Madueke's performance. Like on the left, I thought he held the width nicely. He showed an intent to take Bogle down the line, got Bogle on the yellow. On the right, he showed some nice tricky feet when he came on and stuff. I was really encouraged by him.
Better on the right because that's his more natural game. But I wasn't. I saw some promising stuff on the left, and this is how we spoke about it before: is the order of signings. Okay, imagine he hadn't joined the club, Madueke, right? How are we feeling today about Saka injury?
Yeah.
For one. We're then having to go into the transfer market to get a replacement because you just can't you just need someone to as depth. you probably end up you're scrabbling around now with 7 days to go. You probably get an overprice. You'll end up with Sterling back on loan or fucking Sancho. So it was. I think he will be. He's such a great addition to the squad. You can argue all day over whether it was too much money. It's the Chelsea tax, all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, we've got a very, very good footballer who in our squad who will be playing at Anfield next week, I believe. But that's another. We'll save that for the preview. But yeah, just so pleased for him because again, you don't want all the eyes to be on him. You've got eyes across the pitch now, all sort of starting their journeys, their new careers. And it's not, 52 million pound Madueke has flopped. He hasn't started. He hasn't done this. I'd like to see him get an assist. Like to see him get a goal. That will come.
I've got to say, one concern I've got about how people form opinions nowadays. So I saw a fail comp doing the rounds of Madueke, and it was yesterday, and it was clearly just like because there are you can find actions of any player in the world from any game where something hasn't been executed, and I've genuinely seen it doing the rounds, and people being like, "Oh, I'm so glad!" Like Chelsea fans are so glad we got rid of him. Arsenal fans, some of them being like, "What is this?" And I find it dangerous as an exaggeration, but the fact that people can form opinions based on clips out of context where they don't take the time to watch the game themselves. Like this is why I really believe in how narratives are important, because it's propaganda. And I'm like, for anyone that watched the game, like there will be differing opinions, but I don't think anyone will say he was shit. To anyone that watched the game. And I'm like, I don't know. That was just something that I found.
And there was just on that, I also, just to add to that, there was also now whether it was a troll, but this is the levels that our opposition fans are going for. There was a little screenshot of Max Dowman's mistakes.
No way.
Yeah, man. Gave the ball away here, done this.
Made me laugh on Match of the Day where they said like Max Dowman from year 10. And it's like you hear 15. But I think when you hear year 10, it makes you remember when you were in year 10.
And it means fuck all to me because I was here for... That was brought in long after I left school. That confuses me even more. Year 10, what the fuck's year 10? I know what he's 15. He's in the 4th year. That's my year. It's the 4th year, but then it's the 5th year. So
fair play.
Year 10 nonsense.
None of the woke stuff. No, fair play. That was a wrap of the game. We've got a few more graphics to go through, but that was the kind of high level. All in all, 5 stars, 5-star Arsenal, 5 goals. Obviously it was a shame about the Saka and Odegaard injuries, but in general, everything kind of went to plan. We flexed the squad, and to the point where obviously I'm not going to say I need to be careful how I word this. I'm intrigued with what we do if there's a world without Saka and Odegaard, and I'm not as distraught as I should be or I have been in previous years because of what we've got. Agree. But just a few of the graphics before we wrap up, but they're more of the statistical looks. But guys, girls in the chat, there's quite a lot of you in. Make yourselves known if you haven't already. Drop the stream a like. Help us on the road to 400 subs by subbing to the channel so you don't miss when we go live. And it's always nice when we've got you live and we can all have a chinwag like this. For those that are listening on audio, 5-star review always goes a long way. But make yourself known if you're in live. Let us know if you've got any questions. We'll go through them in a bit. But some of the final graphics to go through. So there was the passing network one that you sent me. And this I found interesting because I think there's been a lot of talk about Rice and Zubimendi and are they going to be more of a conventional double pivot, blah, blah, blah. And I think my thing is I don't want to come to any conclusive things with this Arsenal team because I think it's so fluid and things chop and change so much. Like there'll be periods in the game where they are a double pivot and Rice and Zubimendi are there. There's periods in the game where Rice is in between the centre-backs. There's periods in the game where Zubimendi is in between the centre-backs. There's periods in the game where Rice is high left 8. And I think it's so fluid. But you can see, especially in the first half, that it was them two in the centre of the field, very close together. Saka high and wide on the right. Madueke stretching it on the left, exactly what we thought in the preview. And Odegaard, more central, more conventional 10, like still with that bias towards the right-hand side. But that's a little bit about what we thought. And then second half, obviously, it gets a bit hard to read because of the substitutions and stuff. But I thought the first half was interesting to note. Was there anything that you wanted to mention on this?
Well, that and that sort of ties into why it could have been a little bit not as fluid in that first half an hour. Is you've got that Rice and Zubermendi, and they're just working things aren't they? They're just. It's going to take time. Another week's training, Arteta said. Another week of working out who goes where, who sits here. It's just nice option. It'll be certainly something to do. Are we going to? Well, we would. Arteta changes the system 27 times within games. You know, so we're never we're redundant by talking about whether we're going to be 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. The players are going to move around, and that's the beauty of his system as such, is that you can move these players around, versatility. But it's an interesting looking at that map is I'd like to see a bit more settled, and if that will be the role going forward of them two that close together. So
yeah, and I think this is the thing with the Gyökeres thing. Like, how many times? So sure, on there he looks quite isolated, right? But how many times do we speak about Erling Haaland's like not in the game, 3 touches, 3 goals? And like, it's funny, like we for all of the kind of encouragement, it was 5 shots on target for us, 5 goals. And what's the one thing we speak about? We lack efficiency. Like, we're bringing it now, so hopefully that's something that continues. The next one that you sent was so this one is build-up passing. What was it you wanted to cover on this one?
Is that the one with the Madueke with the final third is 17 passes? Is that on that? That's that one. The final third, is that one there? My eyes are a bit dodgy.
There's
the passing of I think it was Gabriel and Saliba were the passes, the highest passes, or progressive. And then I just thought what stood out to me was Calafiori was quite attacking, but there's Madueke. He's attempting those final third passes, and that's what we want, is a bit more attacking output on that left and on the right. So it's just something to keep an eye on of those parts. It's something that Scott Willis, who does the stats, I've not seen these before, so he's starting to do them this season.
Hey, that's a great find from you. So sorry, I was dicking around with the slides for anyone watching on YouTube, but for those on audio, there's a graphic here from, who did you say? It's Scott Willis.
Scott Willis, yeah.
So Canon stats, yeah. And do you want me to read it out if you can't?
Yeah, please, mate. Yeah.
So so progressive passes, we've got, so Timber was leading the way with 6, Saliba 4, Odegaard and Madueke 3. But as you look through the different metrics, deep completions, Madueke was top for us with 4. Passes into the box, it was Rice top with 4, but then Madueke 3, Timber 3. Final, this says final third attempts. I'll be honest, I don't know what that means. But it looks
fun. Good. Yeah. But it's positives.
He's leading the way with a whopping 17 there. Yeah. The next was Zubermendi 15. Yeah. Next was Saka 11. So like that's pretty encouraging. Yeah. Final third usage. Madueke's leading the way there with 16. That's a percentage, so 16%. So, and I think this is interesting. Like, the one thing we heard about Madueke was the stats guys love him, right? And immediately there, you're looking at, like, so I thought he played okay to good, nothing to write home about, nothing that I thought was concerning. But immediately there's things that it's probably, when you rewatch it and the scouts and the analysis teams they're looking at, they're probably thinking, this guy's in the right areas. He's probably making consistently good decisions, and there's areas for development and improvement there. So that it's maybe one of them under the radar players that could be incredibly useful. So that was interesting to see that.
And that would have been his target for the day. Get these crosses in, get these progressive passes in, take us forward, be more positive. And if he achieves that target, then he's done his job. So we don't know whatever players, you need to get 5 crosses in or get this in. So I was just encouraged to see the progressive and the positive forward thinking that he's trying to do. As you say, maybe whether that equates to what you see in your eye, certainly wasn't shit. But I'm not saying he's messy. performance, but it's very encouraging on his home debut. Okay, it's against Leeds. We'll have that caveat, but if we can see more of that, then I think we're going to see some good stuff.
Yeah, me too. And it's interesting, Zubimendi there as well. Like as well as I thought he played. It says their final third attempts 15, 2 less than Madueke. I thought there were still times where he could have punched it into Gyökeres and he didn't. So like, it's the second week of the season. It's a new pods, as you call them. There's new relationships. Like there's going to be loads of room for improvement. So really encouraging stuff. The other one you did send was like the build-up passing. I don't think there's anything to write home about from this. I think a lot of the build-up was the usual stuff. Like we get from David Raya to the centre-backs to the midfielders really well. High volume stuff. There's nothing on there that screams out to me as new or anything. Is there anything that I might be missing that you wanted to reference?
No, mate. Just no.
Sweet. Lovely stuff. All right. Well, I'll have a quick scan through the live chat to see if there were any questions. I don't think there were. I remember I flagged a couple of statements, which I'll read out in a second. But for anyone that is live, obviously, now's your chance. If you've got a question that you want answered, send it in, and we will get...
I got a question sent in from out of the pod, and it was, I think we have covered it. Do you think this is the most or the strongest squad that you've ever seen?
Yeah,
Arsenal,
easily.
As in this depth wise,
from the perspective of post Invincibles, yeah, easily. And I say post Invincibles just because I was too young to be fully absorbed in that day to day, week to week.
But yeah, we were still going from like your Sol Campbell to your Pascal or to Segon or Stepanovs. You know, the drop down was quite a lot. So I believe.
Well, what about you? I feel like you're probably the best person to answer that.
I believe it's the strongest squad that I've ever seen at Arsenal Football Club, as in depth wise.
I think it's one of the strongest in the world.
Yeah,
it's outrageous.
So still want one more.
Want
one more. Left hand, man. I still want one more. Martinelli to go.
Oh right.
Martinelli to go.
Well, I was going to ask that. He didn't get any minutes, and there were strong rumours.
He didn't look happy
when he shook Eze's hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bit of eyeing him up there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't want to say there were rumours. There was like was it that Indy Kyler or whatever saying like apparently Saudi bid 80 mil on the table. Like that will be very interesting to see, because I do think we're in a position where when Jesus comes back and so we're going to have a bloated squad, and the attack is going to be very top heavy.
Here's a question. Would you take the 80 million and not get someone else, or are you taking the 80 million but only if you get someone else? I know that's a contradiction of what you were just saying about by the time we got Jesus and we are missing players, but you just take the 80 million, cash in at his peak. You're never going to get 80 million. If it is, let's just go with it. If it is 80 million, we'll never get offered 80 million again from Martinelli. So you got to cash in.
I think at a minimum, you definitely take it. It's just
what you do with it.
Yeah, just I look at the group now, and it's like, as well as it's funny, we go from like one end to the other of like, you have to get that balance between we were lacking depth to you don't want to get to a position where you're not playing anyone.
Yeah.
So like now we've got Saka, Madueke, we've got Gyökeres, we've got Havertz, we've got Madueke, we've got Trossard, we've got Eze potentially out there. Like that's 8 people before I've even mentioned Martinelli and Jesus. So I personally don't think they will sign another if Martinelli goes. I think it will be Eze, Madueke left, Gyökeres, Havertz down the middle, Saka, and then I didn't even mention Trossard. I think it will be Eze, Trossard, and Madueke left, Madueke, Saka right. So like I don't think
the 80 million and buy a left back.
Well, this is what people are saying, right? There's rumours that if we do bank that, we'll be looking for like another overlapping profile of left back, because Calafiori is that guy, but can he be that guy and stay fit? And that, like, I just think that is tailor made for you. Remember Tierney, Smith Rowe? Like
Yeah.
That feels like if you can, well, Eze's the Smith Rowe upgrade. If we can find a Tierney upgrade, we're laughing, really, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
But what about you? Do you think we will get another left winger? Would you want one? It feels like you kind of want one more than I do.
I'm a greedy old man. I want.
Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't
just,
say no. I don't
yeah,
think we will.
I don't think we will. If you offered me that, but I don't want that one more to disrupt that dressing room and take it over the edge of a Rodrigo coming in, for example, being a bit of a dickhead, paying him big money, and then that disrupts the dressing room. So I think the real question: do we take the 80 million for Martinelli and not reinvest there? I think we should.
Okay, so here's maybe a question to help you. So let's say Martinelli goes. We got let's just say we get the Rodrigo, yeah?
Yeah.
Kai Havertz wasn't in the squad yesterday. Let's say he's fit, he's back. Who misses out? I guess it'll be Max Dowman, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah. It's
that's completely
situation. Fair. No, it's a crazy situation that there will be people, but maybe the lack of Martinelli, Zinchenko out of the squad is a message to say, boys, you really are going. You got to go.
Yeah. My thing is, I've always said, and I felt like it's not that I don't like or want Martinelli. I just don't think he's of a level where we need or should rely on him as much as we do. But if we can half that, I think he's the perfect squad player. But if you're getting 80 million offers, you've got to take that. I think
you'd be mad not to take it.
Yeah. Tommy Gunn on the reference to the left back. He said Robinson at Fulham. Yeah, I'd quite like that.
Good shout, Tommy. Yeah, good shout.
My mate Andrew said that to me yesterday as well. I do like that. A question for you from IBK Max. Good morning, Uncle Mike. When is the best time to jump on double Arsenal defence, and who are the best Arsenal players to own for the most upside?
I'm looking at this suddenly Madueke has he become an option? I've got Saka. I've got 10.5. Was it 10.5 Saka or 10? He's 10 bird in a hole in my pocket. So
I've got Saka as well.
If you want
10 million, he is.
Yeah, if you want to, why not Madueke?
And game week 7. So our next game week 7 is our next few fixtures. Game week 3 to 6 are Liverpool away, Forest home, Man City at home, Newcastle away. Game week 7 then turns where it's West Ham at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, Burnley away, Sunderland away. And then it flips slightly. Tottenham at home, Chelsea away, Brentford home, Villa away. So there's a sustained period there where other than Chelsea away, like Tottenham at home, I think they'll be harder, but it's still a game I'll be expecting 3 points. Chelsea away, game week 13. Then it's Brentford home, Villa away, Wolves at home, Everton away, Brighton home, Villa home. That's an unbelievable streak until we get to January.
Yeah, that's your double defence. But
it's
funny.
Is it? Or is it double attack now?
Well, that's true. But then your points, your point scorers for your defence are Calafiori and Timber, not Gabriel and Saliba. So far this season, or certainly after yesterday's game.
I haven't dug into the DEFCONs from yesterday. With the games where we have a lot of the ball, would they get anything?
No. Fuck all. After a shot, they didn't have a shot after 20th minute, did they? So nothing to do. But nice to see you, IBK. Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, nice one. Thanks for the question. And the final, it wasn't a question, but the statement was around when I was talking about Max potentially being the youngest goal scorer. I was talking about in the league, but Christopher Tellers was obviously saying for us, for the Arsenal, it was Fabregas, 16 years and 212 days. But I remember hearing on Match of the Day last night, them talking within the Premier League. I forgot who the player was.
It was I never heard
some
of
random snot. Yeah.
I thought I used to thought it was Rooney, but
I thought it was Rooney as well.
It was Rooney against us, wasn't it? I'm sure. I thought it was that, but no, it was some Ronnie Varga or
something like that.
Some random, and I'm like, what's he doing now? Probably. Whoever it was, I've never heard of him since. So claim to fame, pub quiz question.
Exactly. All right, we'll wrap it up there. It's an hour and 15. It had to be done. Final game? First home game of the season. What a day it was. And like you said, I at the start, obviously I'm going to America next week. So at the end of the game. I had a few drinks in Block 9 with my mates and stuff, and then before I walked to the pub to see my other mates, I just did a walk around. Like it was obviously dark, so I just did a little walk around the stadium and like took it all in. I was like, it kind of hit me a little bit, to be honest. It was like,
that and the Eze video, and you're an emotional wreck, mate.
Yeah. So but ladies and gents, thanks very much. That was a great pod. Great. Well, it's been a great start to the season. Obviously, we'll hope the Saka and the Odegaard injuries aren't serious. We said just get to Anfield with 6 points in the bag, and we've done exactly that. Let's hope Newcastle do us a favour on Monday night. Let's hope.
I want a bloodbath. I want a WWE wrestling match. Joe Linton smashing people about. Come on, let's have it. Let's give them a go. So
I do as well. For anyone worrying or wondering about content because of America, don't worry. We'll be back on Friday to preview the big game. We take to Anfield next Sunday, so there'll be lots of talking points, I'm sure. We're not sure what time yet, but preview will be on Friday. So if you've made it this far, thanks again. If you haven't already, please drop the stream a like, sub to the channel so you don't miss when we go live, and help us to 400 subs. If you're listening on audio, 5-star review goes a very long way. And if you're watching back on demand, as always, let us know in the comments what you thought. If there were any talking points that grabbed your attention, share it and have your say. Uncle Mike, pleasure as always. Top of the league, up the Arsenal.
And when are you ready?